Daniel tried to get through it and understand things with the car, and obviously with himself getting used to it and getting the best out of it, but there was just too many weekends where it was obviously just a bit of a struggle that was pretty much how the decision came about. Well, it's never boring when it comes to Daniel Ricciardo. The driver who has won 8 races still hasn't found his spot in F1 in 2023, and although he told the reporters that time will tell, and he'll let everyone know about his decision, we're starting to get a little bit tired of waiting when it comes to Ricciardo. There were many options at the beginning of the silly season, but when the silly season got really busy, it became clear that Ricciardo is not that wanted of a driver at all. Although he does have several chances in 2023, it's very likely that he'll have to settle for the job of a backup driver. And 2 teams are now ready to offer him that: McLaren and Mercedes. The second one came up as a bigger and better choice, and if you want to find out more about that, stick around with us until the end of this video. Ricciardo's time at McLaren is over, and the pain of seeing him finish from 13th place to 18th place will finally end. We all know that he deserved better, and although he is a bit to blame because he couldn't get used to the McLaren car, the car has gotten worse in 2022 and is nowhere near what Ricciardo would want it to be. Still, he will remember the 2021 amazing win, his 8th in F1, and the 1-2 finish of McLaren at that very same track. Applause. Applause. However, this was far away from enough, as it seems like Ricciardo's rescue at McLaren wasn't something that the team was excited to invest in, and they've agreed to buyout terms since they've signed his fellow Australian Oscar Piastri. Nevertheless, Ricciardo is without a seat and is likely to accept the job of a backup driver for the 2023 season, as Mercedes has come up as the best choice for this position. Now, before that, let's talk a bit about Ricciardo's thoughts on his future. What's encouraging for every F1 fan out there that Ricciardo wants to continue racing in F1, which is something that is giving us hope that he'll push for a spot somewhere on the grid. However, he also said there are high chances that he'll accept the backup driver job because he understands the situation that he's currently in, and he doesn't want to act too proud to not accept this. As he added, "I wouldn't give up on F1 if it means I'm not on the grid next year. I'll certainly try to find a way to be on there in 2024. It's honestly the only racing I'm really interested in at the moment. My way of thinking is still, I'm an F1 driver. I'm proud of what I've done, but I still feel there's a bit more to show to give. I wouldn't race another type of racing next year," said Ricciardo. "The truth is I'm keeping every option open, not only for next year, but for the future. I still don't know what next year looks like. As Lewis said earlier, do want to be on the grid. I do want to race, although it's certainly been a challenging time in my career. It hasn't taken the love of the sport away from me, and that desire to still be here and still compete." Finished Ricciardo was also asked about whether or not he'll be able to join a team that is doing a long-term project, something like Williams and Alfa Romeo, and his answer was positive, as he said, "I still definitely have the ability to love a project, but of course, if there's this longer project and this one where you're going to win tomorrow, of course, I'm going to go for the quick win. They are things I would definitely give some thought to. I don't also want to be stubborn or short-sighted and be like, oh no, I'm not interested in that. I will give everything its proper thought." From 2017, every 2 years, I've been with a different team. I don't want to just sign something and think, wait, now something else is there for 2024. So it's probably not as simple as just getting somewhere on the grid next year. It can probably go in many different directions. So I don't think it needs an immediate decision. It's going to be about what's best for me. Nevertheless, a source that is very close to F1 has reported about a possible signing between Daniel Ricciardo and Mercedes. As the report goes, Mercedes are thinking about Ricciardo to cover the chance of Hamilton walking away at the end of next season. Bringing Daniel into their group means they wouldn't be left with no drivers. It would also mean George would be the main guy from that point in 2024. Now, Hamilton's contract is ending at the end of 2023, which means that Ricciardo will be able to drive for the 2024 season. He'll be 35 years old when this is supposed to happen, which is far away from when most drivers retire, but is also far away from an ideal long investment in a driver. However, both of the Mercedes drivers were asked about this opportunity for Daniel, and Hamilton said that he respects Daniel way too much, that he thinks Danny needs to race in 2023 and not sit on the sidelines or be a backup driver, even if that's for Mercedes. Nevertheless, Ricciardo has said that his plans are to sit out the 2023 season and fight for a seat in 2024 during the drivers' parade at the Dutch GP. As he was talking to Perez at that time, think he's far too talented and he's earned the right to be amongst us all racing. If he's part of our team, that'll be great. But a third role is not really what's best for him. If I was managing him, he'd be racing, said Hamilton, who also added that he has never felt better in his 37 years of life and that he plans to extend his contract with Mercedes in the upcoming time. For me, I feel healthier than I've ever felt. I'm feeling fit. I love what I'm doing. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. My goal is to always be with Mercedes. I signed with them in 1997. I love that we have the long partnership we have. I feel like we're starting on a lot of really positive things, not only in the sport, but outside. I think there's a lot to accomplish together. I want to be a part of that, finished Hamilton. George Russell also spoke about this. We all know how close he is with Daniel. Quite frankly, we don't know anyone who isn't close with Daniel, since he's one of the most likable people on the grid. And the young British driver added, I've not heard any reports or heard anything, but I think Daniel's track record speaks for itself. Really, he's a driver who deserves a seat on the Formula One grid, and it would be a real shame for him not to be there next season. But obviously, from our side, having a driver his level joining the team in any way would be a real boost. He's a driver I get along with. I just hope he stays on the grid and in the sport, finish Russell. Whether we like it or not, it seems like this is the only place that Daniel can fit in right now. It's a very sad thing to happen. Haas are probably moving in the direction of signing either Giovinazzi or Hülkenberg, as both of these drivers would be more than happy to drive for less money just to prove they're still made for F1 racing. Alpine was the other place. They've narrowed down the possible list of drivers to just 4, including Nick de Vries, Hülkenberg, and Herta. If the last one is getting the super license from the FIA. As for Williams, it's likely they'll go after drivers like de Vries for the same reason as Haas's Nick will be more than happy to drive for less money just because he can prove himself that he's made for F1 racing. Ricciardo is set to take $15 million from buyout terms from McLaren, which is not something that he's willing to let go. This will be the case if he signs a deal with any other team, as McLaren will get back the money that Ricciardo accepts to drive for any team on the grid. So what do you think is next for the Aussie? Do you think that he deserves a chance on the grid one more time? What do you think, that we've seen enough of him in McLaren and he needs to step back a bit? Let us know in the comments below.